So installation and service, right? What can we expect? Simplified approach. We get it, guys. I talked about it earlier. Labor shortage, join the club. HVAC industry has been there for a while. Oh, before I forget, there was some questions, looks like some back and forth about an HVAC partners account and signing in. I think we have a couple account managers in the class today. If you guys don't mind, maybe, provide some input there, because I don't really know what to do. I've always been given an HVAC partners account, so I don't know what happens on the back end there. So if you have any information, feel free to chime in there or type something in the chat. And one more thing too, just to make sure I have my ducks in a row. Okay. Sorry about that. I had to change something real quick. Okay. Simplified approach, right? And we get it, right? We all work long hours. We're on call nights and weekends. You get to the end of the week and hey man, you're tired. This unit has more direct source diagnostic fault codes. Like I said, there's 158 to be exact. It sounds like a lot, but they are very to the point. This is what you need to check. Now, it's always helpful to look at, if you've got 2 or 3 different codes, hey, what are these other codes too? Are they giving me any kind of info? But it is very direct. There's troubleshooting trees and we'll show you here shortly. You can just follow the steps. Okay, I did this. There's a picture. Check that, and it walks you down the list. Because I get it. 60-hour week, 70-hour week, 80-hour week. On those last few hours of the week, you're dead, right? Hey man, I'm ready to go home. And so thinking, it can be difficult sometimes. Here's a picture of the app. And if you search it, again, search for Carrier Service Tech app or Bryant Service Tech app, and you should find it. The app is free. You will need an HVAC Partners account to log in. You don't always need an HVAC Partners account. In fact, I think you can continue as a guest, but it is helpful to have the HVAC Partners account. With the app, all your information is in one location, right? Pressures, temperatures, voltage, amperage, it's all at your fingertips. Compressor capacity, speed, fan motor capacity and speed, all that information is there. You can look at current and historic fault codes, as well as use the diagnostic assistance. You can use this app for other units as well. It works. Now, the Bluetooth function is only on this unit, but as far as a troubleshooting portion of it, you can use that on other units. We have some furnaces coming out that you can use the Service Tech app to help troubleshoot and load software and stuff like that. So it's very interactive, very, very intuitive. Service manual is going to have all the source codes, and it's going to explain what that is. Again, we have a part 2 of this course. This course is the certification, so you can purchase and sell and install the equipment. But the part 2 of this course is where we get into the service, right? We go through each and every fault code and we talk about, hey, this is what causes it. This is how you correct it. Some of the things that we found, over the years and stuff like that. So very good complement to this one. But service manual is huge. Like I said, I open that manual pretty much every time I speak to someone on the phone about this equipment. Fault codes, where are they displayed? They're all over. You got the Service Tech app. There's a traditional LED that you count the flashes. It's much easier to just look at the PCM display and read the fault code there. You have the wall control, and then you have the connected portal. Okay. The connected portal, we talked about it earlier. Use the setup guide that we have. Get them set up on that. I'll show you here. This is what you'll be able to see. So if you're a dealer, you put this unit in, right, and you have it connected through the portal. You went through the setup guide, okay, and the homeowner's connected to their Wi-Fi network. Then you, as the dealer, can log in remotely at your office. Again, Mrs. Jones's house is an hour and a half away. She calls and there's a problem. Well, I'm going to come in here and I'm going to take a look and see what kind of fault codes does she have. I want to make sure I equip my technician with the proper materials before I get there. Now, does that work on every call? No, but you may be able to get an idea. Okay. It also, gives you some other information. You're going to see indoor, outdoor, the wall control. You can look at the details on each of these. You can see what's happening, system conditions, right? You can see the settings. You can't change these. You can only view them. Okay. There's notifications. There's an event log. There's also a plethora of information. I mean, scroll down here, for example, you click on the event log and it'll bring up all the fault codes. So Mrs. Jones calls in and, hey, it says there's a fault on my thermostat. Okay, well, I can log in and see, hey, excessive static, excessive static. Okay, so they got some air flow issues going on. So now I can send the tech out, make sure, he's able to identify these airflow issues and get them resolved. Okay. So the connected portal, again, very helpful. Now the fault codes are displayed a little different. Okay. Normally it would be a 2-digit code. Now you're going to see a parent and a child code. Okay. For example, if we look at the 31s here, okay, all of these are 31s. They all have to do with high pressure. Okay. Some is a high pressure trip, high pressure malfunction, or a limit fault. Okay, so the child code actually, will give you a little more clarity on the high pressure issue. Okay, so the 16 high pressure switch trip, the 58 is a malfunction. It's shutting the unit down. The fault is just a fault. It's going to try and ride through the fault, but if it happens again, eventually it'll malfunction. Okay. So that's kind of how you read those codes. And again, we get more in depth in that in the part 2 of this course. Here's another good look at the Carrier and Bryant Service Tech app. This is what you're looking for. They got the gear icon, the cog, if you will. Look for that. Again, Carrier Service Tech app or Bryant Service Tech app. And you can use it not only for this unit, but other units as well. Easier, than ever. The information is at our fingertips, right? Everybody wants that. I want to know what's going on. Information is at our fingertips. Okay. We ask these questions. Can we trust the pressure transducers? What if temp sensors are wrong? Sure. Yeah. I mean, it's a mechanical device. It's a machine, it's going to break down at some point. Every AC unit does. Okay. But that's why we're technicians. That's why we get the training. That's why we do what we do, because, we have the means to troubleshoot this stuff. We still use our tools. Okay. If a transducer is incorrect, I can look on the app and see, hey, well, it's telling me there's 200 PSIG. Put my gauge on there. Well, the gauge reads 150. Okay. Well, yes. So now I got to figure out, why is it showing something that it shouldn't be? Okay. And so, our tools are our bread and butter, and they're not going to go away. A lot of people think, oh, well, I don't need tools anymore because I can just get the pressures and everything on the app. Well, no, not exactly. You're still going to need your tools. Okay. Technician access, again, HVAC Partners account. you should have one. You can request one with the company ID. You know, we had a I know we have a couple account managers in here today, so I do appreciate if you guys provide some kind of insight on that process on the back end, because I don't know for sure. Now, if you work for a Carrier dealer or Bryant dealer already, you have an HVAC Partners account. You just have to get it set up, get a username and password set up. You should not be sharing usernames and passwords. That is just in general bad practice. So each individual person should have their own unique username and password. The Service Tech app, like any other app you have on your phone, periodically needs to be updated, and it will do it automatically. Typically, when you're connected to Wi-Fi, probably at your home Wi-Fi network. When you're going to locate equipment for the first time and you're pairing, you have to be within 10 feet of the unit. You can only pair to one unit at a time, and it'll say new equipment. Okay, you click on new equipment and it'll begin the pairing process. Here's some more screenshots. What you're going to see, when you have the app, and I know the app has changed recently, so these might be a little dated, but all the same information is there. Literature lookup, contact, connecting to equipment. There's your interactive troubleshooting. All that stuff is still there. You can view, parts, installation manual, diagnostic literature, warranty card, and then you got your diagnostic tools, interactive troubleshooting, connecting to equipment, service manual literature, that sort of thing. Now, when you go through the troubleshooting, okay, it asks you, do you want to accept? Yes, I clicked it already. So it makes you do it again. Which unit? All right, there's heat pump. There's some furnaces listed here. If it's the variable speed unit, that'll be listed there. But this is just kind of generic in nature right here. I select heat pump, right? And then it asks me, please select your heat pump problem. No operation, no defrost, outdoor fan motor. Well, I'm going to select no operation and continue on. It'll ask me, does the compressor and fan motor operate? Yes or no. Okay, pretty straightforward. If I select no, then it takes me down a different path. If I select yes, then it takes me down a different path. Okay, so it's very intuitive. Here, it's showing you, a picture of the schematic. Do you have 24 volts on Y? Between 18 and 30 on Y. Okay, yes or no. So, you can see how this is walking you along. And, if you got it there, great. If not, hey, maybe there's an open pressure switch. Okay, and so then you can check for that. So again, that's there. I know that's a pretty generic and very easy issue there. You probably don't need the interactive troubleshooting for that type of troubleshooting, but the ability's there, and it gets more in depth depending on what unit you're working on and the problems you have. Here's some more pictures of what you'll see, and I'll zoom in on this so you guys can read it a little bit better. So at the top, model serial number, so you know which unit you're connected to. Line voltage, right? AC line current, DC bus voltage, all that's there. These, this PFCM and IPM temperature, these are some internal temperature sensors in the VFD. Okay, so those are there. Go down a little bit. You see operational status, air conditioning, cooling, right? It's at 100%, lockout timer, etc. Scroll over to the next screen. You can see your refrigeration system info, compressor RPM, fan RPM, coil temperature, suction pressure. I mean, there's a ton of stuff here, guys, and very useful. If you're a technician, you're troubleshooting this equipment, then, this information is so valuable. Now you have to periodically refresh the app okay? Because every time you see this data, it's just kind of a snapshot what's happening at that current moment. So about every 30 seconds or so, you can hit the refresh, and that'll pull new data, and we want to see that. When it starts up, my suction pressure is high. I want to see it start coming down, right? That helps me know that the unit is working as it should. Okay, I like to see my superheat begin to build. Okay, that sort of thing. So very it's just a lot of information there. Now, one of the things that they doesn't have the ability to is export the data like to a spreadsheet or to log it somehow. Okay, but what you could do is take a screenshot of your information and save that. You can save it with a customer file, save it with the job file, or even email it or something like that. So you can do it that way. Again, some more pictures of the app here. Here's firmware. It's telling me there's an update. Remember, you got to be within 10 feet. Within 10 feet, it'll tell you how much time is required to update it. After it's done updating, then it'll move on. Okay, you're complete, and then you can look at anything else you need to there on the screen. All right, so let's look at a service and maintenance scenario, okay, and what can be expected. So here's service. Typical no cool, right? Mrs. Jones calls in, so-and-so air conditioning. Hey, the unit's not working. Okay. I got a error on the screen. It says fan start fault. Okay. Well, if you're the dealer, right? Mrs. Jones lives an hour away. I'm going to log in on the connected portal and see, hey, what other faults does she have? It says fan start fault. Is there anything else? I'm going to send the technician to the job with a condenser fan motor just in case, because, he may need it. If I got fan faults, hopefully he doesn't need it, but if he does, he'll have it, right? Save that back and forth and leaving the customer down, you know. Um, as the technician gets there, you know, and now everybody's got their own way to do things. For me, it was always very beneficial to ask the homeowner questions. If they're not very technical, that's fine. But if you ask the right questions, you can kind of get an idea of where you need to start with the unit. Is the indoor unit running? Is the indoor unit not running? Right? Did it make a weird sound before it stopped? Is there something, kind of leading up to this? They can give you some clues if you know the right questions to ask. You kind of got to work on your approach, but after a while, you get a real easy way to ask a couple questions and right to go, right where to go. Okay. But after that, look at the equipment, locate the equipment, and look at it. When I was in training and pretty new to the industry, I had a guy told me, he said, first thing you want to do is sit on your toolbox and look at it. Just look. He said, don't touch anything. Just look and see with your eyes. And believe it or not, that is some pretty good advice, because there's a lot of stuff you can see. You can see, damaged piping, damaged wiring, dirty coils. I don't need tools to see any of that. Maybe a flashlight, but so always when you locate the equipment, take a look at it, just see it, and look for something. Hey, is the wires okay there? Oh, that's rubbing. Maybe I can fix that while I'm here. And that's not an issue now, but it will be. So I'm gonna, take a little bit extra time to, fix something up. So try to make that a habit. It was always very beneficial for me. But at that point, once you locate the unit, you've looked it over, then you connect to it. Right? Use the Service Tech app and connect to it, and see, hey, what's going on with this thing? Let's check line voltage. Let's check my temperatures, pressures. If the unit's running or not, you can see that. Um, This information is vital when you're diagnosing what's wrong, especially line voltage, okay? Operating pressures, superheat, that sort of thing. You can look at the software notes. When the unit first came out, there were some issues that a software update resolved. Okay, it's been a while since that occurred, but maybe there's a software update that needs to be applied to the unit, and that's why it's not working properly. So you can check that, you can review that. Go into the last 10 events on the on the app, and you can see, hey, fan start fault, fan start malfunction. You can see the current and historic fault codes. Okay, it keeps the last 10 just like the user interface does. All right. Then you can go through the interactive troubleshooting tree, okay, and find out, hey, I need to troubleshoot this. I'm going to go through the troubleshooting tree and see, try to track down where's the problem at. Okay. As you go through some things, look for fan blockage, check the fuse, okay, ohm the motor. We ohm the motor out, and guess what? We found a short. Hey, it's a good thing we brought the fan with us, because now I can change the fan motor out and be on my way. Okay, replace the fan motor, you get it going. After that, again, check the software, see if there's anything available to update or not. And then run the unit, put it in a checkout mode and run the equipment, take some pictures, screenshots of the information that's displayed there, and you can save that, especially during service calls. Maybe it's something you want to share with the homeowner. They may not know what anything there means, but it's a way to confirm, hey, this unit's working. Here's all the information. This unit is working like it should. So again, you're going to have to determine if that's a route you want to take, but the ability is there. Complete your service, speak with the homeowner, hey, this is what we found. We're able to get the unit up and running, blah, blah, blah. You guys know the drill there. Periodic maintenance should be done. Again, very efficient system. Okay. If you don't maintain it, it's probably going to break down, prematurely. All right. So periodic maintenance is always an excellent idea with HVAC equipment in general. So now, maintenance scenario. Okay. Pair your service tech app. Now, again, I like to take an approach of ask a few questions. How's the unit been running? Some of these people you begin to build a relationship with. If hey, I like so and so, I only want him to come back and do my maintenance, and so you begin to be a little friendly with them and ask them questions. And how's the unit been running? And is everything working like you want it to? And so hey, is the unit making any kind of weird noises or anything like that? And they may give you some information. Well, the other day it got kind of warm, but then it recovered and it came back on and was working fine. And so if I'm the maintenance guy there, then I keep that in the back of my mind. And hey, well, she said it didn't work the other day, so I'm gonna keep an eye out while I do the maintenance and see, is there something that could have caused that? Locate the unit. Again, look at it, look with your eyes, see if there's anything you can see right off the top, and then you compare to the equipment. You can only pair to one unit at a time. Okay. And it'll tell you at the top of the app, it'll give you the model and serial number, so you know exactly what unit you're connected to. Once you pair to the unit, then you can go about your diagnostics or your maintenance. Okay. Look at all the information, watch the unit run. Is this making sense? Right? If I'm looking at my line voltage, is it making sense to me? Okay. Because if none of this stuff makes sense to you, then there could be a problem with the unit. or maybe you need to investigate, or learn a little bit more about what this is trying to tell you. Okay. Operating temperatures and pressures, right? Normally on a maintenance, you may only connect the suction side. You're not going to connect discharge, but discharge pressure is helpful to have. Okay, so you're going to see that here on the app. I always made it a habit to check my delta T first, because I didn't want to get halfway through a maintenance and find out, hey, this unit's not really working the way it should be. So I always check my delta T first. If it was acceptable, then I would go on with the maintenance. So just kind of the way I did things. So everybody's got their own way. But again, all this stuff is probably more than you would check on your typical maintenance. But if you have it at your fingertips, why not? Right? Makes you more thorough. Look for current and historic fault codes. Remember, the homeowner said it stopped working the other day, and now it recovered and it was working again. So, at that point, it's like, all right, I'm gonna look at the history and see. And hey, guess what? There was a fault, and maybe I can investigate it now and take a look and see what's going on and get it corrected. Because that's the worst. Have a maintenance customer, you do a maintenance, and then there's a callback. It's not working. Oh no, what happened? So you always want to be pretty thorough on your maintenances. Software updates, you can apply the software updates. It should be updating itself periodically if it's connected to Wi-Fi, but always a good idea to update it if necessary. And then have your exit, complete your maintenance, wrap it up, take some pictures of the user interface, or even screenshots of the app, and you can have that information for your records, provide it to the homeowner if that's something you choose. So again, there's a lot of different things you could do there, but remind the homeowner, change your filter periodically, right? You're coming out twice a year, but that doesn't mean the filter gets changed twice a year, and you may need to change it more or less depending on the environment. So we went through it pretty quick today, guys.